I was one signature away from handing over a $500,000 donation to Golden Years Nursing Home when everything shifted. A nurse came speed-walking down the corridor, practically hauling a 72-year-old black woman by the wrist like she was a misbehaving child. Her skin looked tired, her body frail, but her eyes locked on me like she had just recognized something she never expected to see again. And then she whispered, barely a breath, "Avid, my boy, my little builder." My pen froze mid-air. The humming lights above felt louder. The hallway smelled like its usual lemon cleaner, but behind that, something older, something like loneliness. The nurse didn't flinch. "She's confused again," she muttered. "Keeps talking about a son named David. Says he got rich and never came back." Her words should have bounced right off me. But they didn't, because the name she said, Rosa Johnson, hit me like someone cracked a window in a room I didn't realize was suffocating. My name is David Thompson, CEO, Penthouse Views. Adopted son of Richard and Margaret Thompson, Chicago's polished, charitable, old-money royalty. The family whose donations get turned into plaques, buildings, and articles filled with polite praise. And my childhood? It was tidy, packaged. A story told so many times it became muscle memory. My nanny had personal issues. She left suddenly. I was 5. Best for everyone, they said. And like a good son, I didn't push it. The house was big, the rules were soft, the holidays were curated like magazine spreads. Why disturb perfection? But when that woman, Rosa, lifted her chin and met my eyes, something warm and familiar stirred. Not memories like pictures, memories like feelings. A scratchy kitchen radio playing old songs, oatmeal with way too much cinnamon, a woman singing off-key on purpose just to make me smile, a cardboard castle that I treated like the center of the universe. And suddenly I heard my own voice asking, "What's happening here?" The head nurse, Patricia Wells, stepped in with an overly practiced smile. "Mr. Thompson, Rosa suffers from severe dementia. She creates stories. Please don't encourage it." I should have nodded. I should have walked away. That's what people like me are trained to do, stay efficient, avoid emotional messes. But I didn't. I sat with her. Under a generic painting of sunflowers that had never felt sunlight, I asked her the kind of questions you only ask when you're trying to disprove the impossible. Who taught me to tie my shoes? What did I call the frying pan I wasn't supposed to touch? What story did you use to put me to sleep when I cried at night? She didn't hesitate. She didn't guess. She answered like she was pulling the memories straight from my bones. And when I asked, "Why did you leave?" her eyes drifted somewhere heavy and distant. A man in a suit brought papers. Said a black nanny wasn't right for a white family moving up. Said if I didn't leave quiet, they'd call it kidnapping. My chest tightened. A name surfaced in my mind like oil rising in water. Charles Morrison. The lawyer who handled delicate private adoptions in Chicago. He was the man whose handshake everyone trusted, because he never got his hands dirty in public. The floor felt uneven beneath my feet. Patricia tried again. "Mr. Thompson, you're disturbing her. Maybe we should finalize the donation." But the check was already back in my pocket. I told Rosa I'd return tomorrow. That night, standing alone in my penthouse, staring into a glass of whiskey like it might explain something, I called my assistant Jake. "Find everything on Patricia Wells. Who pays her? Who pays this nursing home? Check if Morrison's firm is still moving money." 2 hours later, Jake called back, voice tight. "David, Patricia gets an extra $2,000 a month, offshore account, controlled by Morrison's firm, and Rosa didn't wander in here. She spent 25 years in a private psychiatric facility. Initial authorization signed by your father." The whiskey glass slipped from my hand. But that was only the first crack in a wall built out of lies. Because what I uncovered next didn't just threaten my past. It threatened everything my family built their empire on. I showed up at Golden Years the next morning with someone the staff wasn't expecting. Dr. Amanda Foster, a neurologist who doesn't play games, especially not the kind institutions like this are used to. I paid her privately, quietly, and told her only one thing: tell me the truth, nothing else. Rosa sat in a small, sunless room while Dr. Foster spent nearly 3 hours with her. Memory tests, pupil tracking, long written evaluations, questions layered with questions. I paced the hallway like a man waiting for a verdict. When Amanda finally stepped out, she didn't need dramatic pauses. Her voice alone was enough. "This is not dementia," she said. "This is trauma and years of heavy, inappropriate medication. It's deliberate. Someone kept her fogged for decades." Decades. That word felt like a punch. And then, almost on cue, Patricia appeared in the doorway, leaning casually like a person who believes she's protected by the right people. "We follow medical orders, sir," she said. "Whose orders?" I asked. Her eyes flickered just briefly. "Dr. Morrison," she murmured. "And who pays those invoices?" A pause longer than comfort allows. Then she whispered the name she knew I already suspected. Richard Thompson. My father. Everything inside me went quiet, like the air before a storm. That evening he called me. His voice was smooth, practiced, too polished. "David, your mother and I are worried you're letting yourself be misled by fantasies. This woman is sick. We know you'll make the right decision." Right decision. His favorite phrase whenever he really meant, "Do what protects us." I asked him one simple question. "How do you know her medical details?" Silence. A thin, dangerous silence. "We made some inquiries out of concern," he finally said. A lie. A soft one, but a lie all the same. I hung up. Enough was enough. The next morning, I sat across from Michael Rodriguez, the sharpest investigative lawyer in the city. The man hates corruption the way fire hates gasoline. He listened to everything without interrupting, then spread a stack of files across my conference table. Photos, medical documents, bank transfers, adoption records you'd need a vault and a prayer to access. He didn't smile when he said, "This isn't just your family. This is a network, a boutique adoption pipeline, a loyal psychiatrist, a judge who signs off late Fridays, caregivers labeled unstable, children quietly redirected to families who want a clean story." Then he tapped a spreadsheet like he was pointing to a graveyard. "From what I can trace, at least 15 cases spanning 40 years. My stomach turned. My father hadn't just taken my mother from me. He had done this before, many times. We brought in prosecutor Janet Williams, a woman known for two things: never losing a case and refusing to bow to power, not even a little. She examined the files for nearly an hour, not a twitch, not a breath out of place. Then she closed the folder and said, "If even half of this is real, I'll take them all down. But you need to understand something. This will blow up your life, everything you think you know." I told her the truth, the one that surprised even me. My life already exploded the moment Rosa said my name. Now I'm just sweeping through the rubble. From that moment, we moved like a storm with purpose. Jake tracked hidden payments. Michael drafted airtight affidavits. Dr. Foster wrote a clean, blistering report that sliced straight through decades of manufactured fog. Janet filed quiet requests for sealed medical records and mirrored hard drives before anyone could erase anything. Rosa, slowly clearing from years of chemical darkness, began remembering names. Carmen, Martha, women swallowed by the same machine that swallowed her. One night, when I admitted I was scared of what we were waking up, she took my hand gently and said, "Baby, when someone lies long enough, fear becomes their uniform. Don't let it be yours. But courage comes with consequences." And at 6:30 on a Tuesday morning, the city woke to a crackdown that would tear apart everything my family ever hid behind their perfect smiles. At 6:30 a.m. on a gray Tuesday morning, the entire city seemed to jerk awake at once. Unmarked cars rolled out like a quiet army, agents moving with hushed precision. From Janet's office window, I watched the operation unfold on a wall of screens, each camera feed marking the truth finally stretching its limbs. Team Alpha, Richard Thompson in custody. Team Bravo, Dr. Patricia Wells detained. Team Charlie, search warrants executed at Morrison and Associates. It felt unreal watching my father step out onto the porch in a robe that looked expensive and useless at the same time. Cameras flashed. Agents spoke calmly. His eyes scanned the chaos like he was searching for someone to blame it on. Then slowly, he looked straight into a camera, as if he knew I would be watching. And for the first time in my life, his face held something other than certainty. He called me from holding. "David, this is a misunderstanding. We loved you. Everything we did was for your good." His voice cracked, just once, but I didn't let it pull me back. I said what had been pressing against my chest since the moment Rosa said my name. "You didn't love me. You loved the story you could create if you erased hers." Silence, pure, heavy silence. That afternoon, Prosecutor Janet Williams stepped up to the podium while a swarm of cameras and reporters battled for position. Her voice cut through the noise like a blade. "We are filing charges for falsified medical records, illegal transfers of minors, pharmaceutical abuse and adoption fraud spanning 4 decades. Gasps, shouting, flashes exploding like fireworks. Within hours, the city was on fire, not with flames, but with truth. News tickers, social media storms, people climbing out of the shadows of the same system that swallowed Rosa. Clinics scrambled to protect themselves. Foundations backpedaled. Everyone who once clinked glasses with my parents suddenly acted like they never knew them. 3 days later, I moved Rosa into a small, sun-soaked house on the edge of the city, a place where she could breathe air that wasn't filtered through fear. She walked through the door slowly, touching things like she was afraid they might disappear. "How does it feel?" I asked. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Like the world finally remembered I'm here." We didn't stop there. Golden Years West Wing, once a place where silence was prescribed like medicine, became the Rosa Johnson Welcome Center, a refuge for people torn apart by the same machine that stole her life. We hired counselors who understood the difference between confusion and chemically forced fog, lawyers who turned grief into filings, filings into action, action into daylight. 2 years passed. The foundation now runs hotlines across 3 states. Michael trains young lawyers to track paper trails the way hunters track footprints. Janet, now the state's attorney general, still replies to my texts with her favorite word, moving. Richard's appeals failed. He will serve his sentence. My adoptive mother now lives in a facility that finally respects consent. Patricia lost her license and works the night shift mopping floors. Ironic considering how much dirt she helped hide. And me, people think I must feel victorious, triumphant. But I don't. I feel balanced, like a beam finally set into the frame where it always belonged. Yet there's a truth I haven't told Rosa. A file Michael found, thin but heavy, that hints what we dismantled was just one branch of a much larger tree. Deep roots, other counties, other victims. Sometimes I sit with Rosa on the porch, both of us watching the sky grow soft in the evening light. I keep that truth locked behind my teeth, not out of fear, but because rest is also a form of justice. But she always senses it. She looks at me with that quiet strength forged in years of survival and says, "When you're ready, baby, we'll go." And I nod, because she is the bravest person I know. People often ask if I forgive my father. The honest answer changes with the weather, but one thing remains. I chose justice over revenge, because justice builds, revenge only burns. And maybe, just maybe, mercy belongs not to the one who benefited from the lie, but to the one who survived it. You've heard my story. Now I want to hear yours. Where do you draw the line between justice and forgiveness? Have you ever uncovered a truth that rewrote your past? Drop your city and local time below, and tell me what justice looks like where you live.